OMG. Ah! Okay. Hello, everybody. This is interesting. How are you today? Oh my gosh, it's working. This is exciting. I'm doing this from my home computer, and I'm not sure what is going on, except maybe I need a new Wi Fi provider. Okay. Happy Wednesday. It is a glorious day here. I'm looking for my notes real quick. I'm going to get better and better at this. This is so fun. So, okay, here we go. If you're a woman over 40 who's ever said, it's too late for me, I've missed my chance, or I just can't leave everything behind and go after my dream, this story is for you today because I was you and I almost said no to something that changed my life. And I will go into that in a little while and explain that to you all. But so grateful to be here with you today. Melissa K. Range, Igniting Change. And whew, I got to take a deep breath myself because I did something yesterday to push my own edge, and that's how I lead my life. So I know that there was a time in my life, and this was literally right around the end of my 30s into my early 40s, where I truly felt, and I felt this way many times in my life, where I felt really stuck. I felt very alone. I didn't feel seen and heard. And I felt like, is this all there is? And maybe at that time it was a midlife crisis. I Okay, it appears as though we are back to being live. Oh my goodness. Okay. I am just laughing at this. This is how it goes. And I'm going to have to work on my Wi Fi. All right. So, are you a woman 40 plus who feels stuck, unseen, or behind, like you're behind in life? I felt like this. This was me years ago. And one of the things that I realized over the last several years is I got to say yes to myself. But at the time, I was always saying no to myself. So, one of my dreams, and women have lots of dreams and desires, one of my dreams was to is to be a professional speaker. So for many years I have worked on that, but I wasn't putting myself out there to be a paid professional speaker. I wasn't putting myself out there because I really didn't know how, and I was afraid and I didn't think I was ready. And so for the last many years, it's been a building process. And this is what we have to do. We have to build ourselves towards our dream. We have to do things in our lives to push ourselves to get us to our dream or desire. And these are the three reasons why women don't chase their dreams and desires: lack of support, lack of money, and lack of confidence. And this is a statistically significant fact that 50% of women do not chase their dreams and desires because of these three things. And this was me years ago. So let me set the stage a little bit from when I was married. And maybe you're somebody where you're stuck in a marriage, or you're stuck in a relationship, or you feel like you're stuck and you don't know how you're ever going to get out, and you feel miserable, but you don't know how to change it. This is where I was in my life. And I've mentored a lot of people in this space. And so I know there's a lot of people out there that are stuck and afraid. Okay, it says that my thing is unstable again. Oh, yay. Okay, it's working. I think I'm just going to keep going. And so when I was married, I felt like I'm in this situation for life. I'm never going to get out. This is where I am. I don't know how to do anything from here. What am I going to do? And I just kept getting what I felt like shrinking, 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 and isolating and becoming desperate, and feeling very unseen and very unheard in my marriage and in life. And once I started going down that path, of course, it was just going to get worse and worse until I decided to do this if I want to like get off of her. And oh, here we go again. I don't know what it's doing. Okay. So once I decided to get out of that marriage, I've done many things and pushed myself for many years to get out of my comfort zone, if you want to call it that. I don't really like to call it that, but I like to call it pushing my edge. So I would push my edge to move forward to the next level, the next level. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And what I've been doing in my life, and I learned this in Firewalk School, is we sequence ourselves. We can learn to sequence ourselves to the next most challenging thing in our lives. And last year, around, I guess it was, let's see here. It was sometime between January and May. I had heard about this speakers cruise. And I was very intrigued by it because for a long time I have wanted to be a paid professional speaker. And I heard about this speaker cruise and I thought, wow, that sounds fascinating. You mean you go on this cruise and you learn about public speaking, you learn how to be a better public speaker, you have to speak in front of people. Oh my gosh, what would that look like? And I kind of drug my feet because first of all, I was already in a very expensive mastermind and I wasn't really happy with the leader of this mastermind. She took a lot of our money and she really just kept us busy, 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 busy for many months. And that's really what she was doing. And she did help us tell us or help us create a program, which I do have a program. And now that's evergreen. But otherwise, most of the work that we did was busy work. And so I didn't really want to spend the money because it was going to be expensive. I wasn't going to know anybody. And I was afraid. I was afraid. I was like, will I get seasick? I mean, I've been on a cruise before, but I was thinking, will I get seasick? Not only that, is I had to leave my 16-year-old daughter because my two older ones are in college, which meant I had to leave my daughter for like 9 days. And I didn't know if I could do that because I'd never left her for that long. And so, and on top of that, she doesn't have the most supportive father. And so that means she would have to be going back and forth. And so it was just a big decision for me. It was a big decision for me to take care of me. And the logistics of it get very overwhelming. And I'll get like, oh my gosh, I got to get all this stuff ready. Plus, I'm a single mom. So I have to have things, the house in order, groceries purchased, where's the dog going? It's all of this stuff. And I can make a lot of excuses. And my mom guilt was really strong. And so, one of the things I kept thinking was like, how can I get this done? How can I do this? What's it going to mean for me? Why do I feel the need and the urge and the call to go? But I've got all this responsibility at home. And it was very scary for me to think about that. And I've gone over things like this in the past where I've had something in mind, like a goal, a desire, a trip, something. And once I make that decision, and it sometimes takes me a while, like if it's a big, expensive decision, because it means an investment in myself, an investment of my money, an investment of my time, leaving my family, figuring out the logistics of animals and children and house and cars and bills and things. And so it can get very overwhelming. And what I heard was it will all work out. So go anyway. And this was back, I think, in May or June of last year. I made the decision that I would go on this cruise. And like I said, I didn't know anybody. I wasn't sure what to expect. But I said to myself, you need to do this because it's a part of pursuing my dreams and my goals and what I want to do in life. And I've got one child left at home for one more year, and then she's going to go off to college. And so I thought to myself, this is it. I really need to get into the space that I know I excel, I'm good at, and I want to do for the rest of my life. And so when I got there, I met with everybody on the first night, and we were told that the next day, this was a Sunday, the next day we would, or maybe that was a Saturday, the next day was a Sunday, we would meet and do our speech, give our 3-minute speech to the entire crowd, the entire group. And it was all about my passion. And this is my passion, is helping women 40 plus to go after their dreams, their goals and desires. And so, and it was about how I want to serve. And then on top of that, I had to speak in front of professional, paid, highly paid keynote speakers, people who make multiple six figures doing this kind of business. And when I got up there, I remember when we picked numbers out of a hat. And I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I didn't memorize my speech. How can I do this? And I've been doing YouTube and Facebook and TikTok lives and things like that for a while now. But getting up on stage in front of a giant group of people, especially and now mind you, these people are coaches, mentors, and things like that. They've worked with people with paid professional speakers, and they are paid professional speakers, but it's still overwhelming, especially when it's something that you're passionate about and you want to make sure that your message is clear and concise and on target, and that you're doing your bullet points, and you're really explaining or being articulate about what it is and the way you want to serve. And so when I got up there, oh my gosh, okay, so I took a bunch of notes on my phone so that I could remember what I was telling you. When I got up there, this was the funny thing. I took my phone with me. I took my phone because I had written out my 3-minute talk on my phone. And I thought to myself, if I falter, and I'm just going to use this piece of paper as an example, if I falter, I can refer to my phone. So the phone was really my safety net. And it was something that I felt I needed to keep me safe in that moment when I was really nervous, really anxious, and really worried about walking appropriately and holding the microphone appropriately, and can everyone hear me, and am I doing everything correctly. I put so much pressure on myself to be like perfect. I didn't need to do all that. I didn't need to be perfect. I just needed to show up for myself. And I needed to show up and say, this is what I want to do. And these are the steps that I need to do to get where I want to go. And so I've done a lot of videos about this in the past few weeks, these little short videos. It's not about like where I was in that moment. It's about who am I becoming? Who do I want to become? Or who's inside of me that's screaming to come out, but I'm scared. I'm scared to get in front of a large audience. I'm scared to step in front of my peers, because not so much about them, what will they think of me, but just it's always comes back to what am I thinking about me. But I'll tell you what, all the comments that I got, because everybody had to write comment cards about everybody, about what they could work on or what they liked. And pretty much everybody said, excuse me, your speech was extremely passionate. You were very articulate. You have great energy. The only thing you need to lose is the phone. Because I had the phone with me, and it wasn't even like I was reading it, but I had that phone right there just in case I couldn't remember what to say. But it was only 3 minutes. And in reality, I had really already memorized what I wanted to say, but I needed to kind of say what I was going to say, tell people what I was going to tell them, and then tell people what I told them. That's the true art of public speaking. And so I really didn't need to be all that nerve wracked, but I was. Okay. And so then this is how things went along for the week. Nobody said anything like you should have been louder or you should have been not walking so fast. It was just get rid of the phone. Just get rid of the phone, Melissa. And that was pretty much the only feedback everybody gave me of my peers. And so, needless to say, I thought I should revise my 3-minute talk. I thought I needed to revise a little bit of it because I thought, well, maybe it's really not on point. So, for the rest of the week, I was kind of like revising my talk. And I was getting really nerve wracked because I was talking to other people and giving them my talk and practicing, practicing, practicing. And I thought to myself, maybe I need to revise it. Maybe I didn't give my point clear enough. When in reality, well, I had really done a good job with my talk and I didn't need to change anything at all. And so by the end of the week, we had been told that we would need to give our 3-minute talk again because we were supposed to have practiced it all week. Now, how many of you go through life and you don't practice reaching things in your life like a goal that you want to reach, or you don't participate in the little baby steps that you need to do in order to get to your goal? This is what you have to do. You have to put one foot in front of the other, and you have to keep going every single day, because otherwise you're going to lose sight of it, or you're going to falter or not keeping the momentum. Even if it's a small step, you've still got to show up. You still have to participate in order to reach that goal. And it may take you years. It may take you years, but you will get there. You will get there. It's taken me years to get where I am. And it's taken me many certifications and many practice and one step forward, two steps back. And that's what I do. I encourage people to continue to keep going because that's when you're going to get to that dream or desire. And so what ended up happening after that week was I built a lot of anxiety and pressure on myself, which I did not need to do actually. How many times do we do that? How many times do you put too much pressure on yourself and you get yourself all wrapped so tight in a ball and then you're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so anxious. I just can't do this." Or you quit because you think I can't do this anymore. I'm overwhelmed. I'm whatever, and you don't have the support system in place. See, I always have a support system in place when I do these big things. Okay, so I became confident though from that first time, but then as the week went on, I sort of freaked out and was getting really stressed and really overwhelmed about my closing talk, which I didn't need to do, you all. I did not need to do. And so once I finished my talk at the end of the week, and it went so well, and I don't even remember what I said, but I did not take my phone up there on that stage. I did not, because everybody had told me to leave the phone behind because it was a crutch. It was such a crutch for me. And so I left the phone behind. I did my 3-minute speech, and I met a ton of wonderful people. I met so many great people. I got to know the staff on the boat. I became friends with several of the staff members on the boat. I got to go to 3 beautiful destinations and see different parts of the world. I mean, the whole trip, I got actually to spend, I didn't have to cook for myself all week, which is amazing as a single mom. I'm always cooking. So I didn't have to cook or clean anything. And I could sit and enjoy my dinner every night with these wonderful new friends I made from all over the place. So these are all the benefits of stepping out of your comfort zone. But it grew my confidence tremendously about my speaking ability. It really grew my confidence when you have multiple six-figure people saying to you, "You're on the right track. You're doing great. I love your energy. You have a great message." When they are saying things like that to you, what does it do? It builds your confidence. It reminds you of what you're capable of. And so it reminded me actually of why I was there, what I want to do in life, how it's important. And it reminded me of who I am. And a woman who says yes to her dreams and desires, even when she's scared. And so, and I had a voice, and I am just getting started, you all. I am just getting started. This is just the tip of the iceberg for me as I move forward. So my confidence wasn't the absence of fear, it was walking through the fear. And I belong on the stage, and I know this. I knew that I've known this for a long time, but to get there has been really challenging because I'm doing all these other things. How many of you women out there are taking care of children by yourselves, or you have a full-time job and taking care of a family and taking care of your elderly your parents, and you're trying to take care of yourself? We're doing all of these things. And remember, first of all, take care of you first and foremost. But I was no longer waiting for permission to do what I wanted to do with my life. I was going after my dreams. And on top of that, I was modeling courage for my children. And I'm doing that constantly. I want to be a model to my children. So this is something else that is very, very important to me because I am a walk the talk kind of person. I don't want my children to ever think, "Oh, that my mom says do this, but she doesn't do it herself," because I won't be that type of woman. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions I want you to think about. What are you saying no to right now? Not because it's wrong, but because you're scared. What are you saying no to right now in your life? Where are you saying no to chasing a dream or desire or a want or something you want to let go of, something you want to pursue? Where in your life are you scared to say yes to you? Where are you still waiting for someone to give you permission to go after what lights you up? For me, this cruise and speaking in front of people, this is my jam. This lights me up. What lights you up? What makes you excited about your life? That's what you need to pursue. And then What would you change in your life if you gave yourself just 3 minutes of courage? That's what I did. 3 minutes of courage. And there was a timer on the stage with these highly paid motivational speakers. There was a timer, and they would start it, and then they would say, boom, you're done, done, done. And they would cut you off. And that's okay because we were practicing. But where in your life, what would you change if you gave yourself just 3 minutes of courage? I challenge you with these questions today. So, if you're listening to this on the replay, type me in the chat if you've ever let fear talk you out of something big. Type me in the chat if you've ever let fear talk you out of something big. And drop a fire sign in the chat or the comments if you're feeling the nudge to do something bold, even if it scares you. And maybe you want to name it. Maybe you want to name what that is. I just yesterday signed up for another trip to go somewhere, and I'm nervous. I'm feeling the fear. I am today, I'm really anxious because I paid for the deposit, I paid for the plane ticket, and I'm nervous. I'm nervous about this. This is pushing my edge, but I have to do it because that's the kind of person I am. And that's the way I mentor. That's the way I lead. That's how I speak when I'm out in the professional world. So the cruise cracked open something in me, and it led to what I've now created, a sacred space for women like us, 40 and beyond, who are ready to lead, speak, and rise and go after your dreams. And my program is called Find Your Fire. It's a 5-week program. That's how I modeled it. That's how I created it for women who are tired of playing small, who want to reconnect to their voice and to know it's not too late to finally choose yourself. It's time for you to choose yourself if you have not been choosing yourself. And the program is open. You can start at any time. And I would love for you to be a part of my community. I would love for you to come into the community and be a part of this community, safe space of women who are always stepping forward, walking through the fire. And actually, I have a free meditation as well. I will link that in this video. But I want you to share, your feelings in the comments. And if you want more info, you can just type fire in the comments and I'll send you the info your way. So I just want to read you something that I wrote, that confidence doesn't come first. It's the decision that comes first. And you say yes while your voice is shaking. And then one day you realize you're walking through the fire that you used to be afraid of. And fire is my element. I use fire because fire is my element. I'm a fire walk instructor and I love anything to do with fire. But I'm so grateful you joined me today to share a little bit about my story, how I spoke up, how I faced my fear and spoke anyway. That was the title of this live. And hopefully next week. And I come on these lives every Wednesday. That's my goal, is to be on here on Wednesdays at 12:30 and just give you a little story, a little motivation, a little inspiration. Because even if you don't believe in you, I believe in you, and you can borrow my faith or you can borrow my belief until you believe yourself in you and what you're capable of and what's possible for you. And I think that's it for now. I did not take any more notes. And so hopefully you all are having a super duper fabulous day. I'm sorry about the glitches in my YouTube live, but I will try again next week. And maybe by then I will have a better internet service that can help me get my stable connection every week. Woohoo! But yeah, I will look forward to connecting with you again. And like I said, please put some of that stuff in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And if you do have questions, just reach out to me. Put a comment here and I will reach back out to you. And I hope you all have a super duper great rest of your day. See you soon. Melissa Range signing out.